Greetings, fellow hedonists and pleasure seekers. Today we're going to be making
some hot, white, slightly salty, goopy stuff.
This stuff, which I've been able to find two authentic pronunciations. You can call it either ricotta or you can call it ricotta. One of the two. I like them both. It has many applications. You can smear it on bread. You can smear it on your chest. In fact, the Italians call this method sbavatura sul petto. This stuff, cold, salty runoff of the ricotta making process, is also known as whey or whey. Anyway, I know all you ones and zeros out there in internet land are probably thinking, find a way to use the whey? No way, you might say. Well, I say yes way. To find a way to use the whey so we may assuage this wanton waste of whey historically. No, we're not gonna throw it away. We shall put an awful strain on our gray matter. Hooray! But we're gonna address that in a later video. Anyway, we're gonna get down to the basics, the brass tacks, the nitty gritty, the cheese. So what you'll need for this recipe is 6 cups of 3.25% milk, 2 cups of 35% cream or whipping cream, 5 tablespoons of white vinegar, 3 teaspoons of salt, and that's it. That's all this cheese is made of. And then as far as the gear that you'll need, you just need a saucepan that can hold 2 liters. You'll need a thermometer. And then after that, you basically just need a bowl to catch the stuff. You need a sieve, and then you need cheesecloth. And that's really about it. Okay, so once you have your 6 cups or 1.5 liters of milk poured out, you're going to combine the 2 cups of cream. Pour it in there kind of slowly at first because it'll do that if you don't do it slowly. There you go. You want to turn your thing on, whatever it is, fireplace, to medium heat. And you don't want to turn it up high. This stuff is going to take a little while to come up because presumably you keep your milk in the fridge, not in a hollowed out tree somewhere. And you know, you want to just bring it up on a medium heat. Okay, so now we wait. Make sure you don't break eye contact with the milk because it'll
go faster.
Anyway, okay, so I just want to show you, this is it at its beginning stages. So again, it's gonna come up over time to 200. So right now it's right at the very beginning, it's like right out of the fridge. You also want to make sure to give it a stir every once in a while. So as you can see, we've gone from 60 in to now it's almost 130. And as you can see, very little has changed in the consistency of the milk itself. Okay, so we can see here the first sign of change. You can see this little kind of milky pudding skin that's happening. As if I stick the thermometer in here, you can see, I don't know if you can see it, let's see. It's about 150. That's about the time that you're gonna get this little pudding skin. So we're on the way. Yeah, you probably want to scrape the bottom a little bit just in case there's some stuff on the bottom in need of a scraping. Now let's check again. All right, we're getting close. We're getting close. It's right about this time that you should start to think about where your salt and vinegar are. Yeah, so it's around this point, as I mentioned before, you want to start checking a little more frequently because now we're right about at 200, right? But if we were to add the vinegar and the salt right now, specifically the vinegar, would lower the temperature because the vinegar is just at room temperature, so it would actually lower the temperature, and this would, in my experience, inhibit the whole process. Okay, so it's at this point your background music should be really tense, wanting to resolve. We're at 206. It is time. You just want to add your stuff in as quickly as possible. I am going to add it in one at a time just because this is being filmed and I don't want my hand to get in the way of the camera. But you at home, if you're not filming, you stand a better chance of doing this correctly than I do right now. So you should feel pretty good about that. I'm gonna add in the salt first, and then I'm gonna do the vinegar. And once the vinegar hits, boom, then that's when shit starts to happen. Stuff's gonna burn, gets crazy. Boom, 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 boom. Wow, look at that, so exciting. And what's gonna happen if you did this correctly, and you could also turn off the heat at that point, and really stir it around, you should see right now, you see the curds already separating from the whey. It just looks like a good time. And you just want to stir it a little bit because that salt, you really want it to dissolve and for it to be evenly distributed, right? Because sometimes I found I make this stuff and it's actually under seasoned because I just threw the salt in and just let it chill or whatever, and it just hangs out by the bottom, just staying all crystally and whatever. And you don't want that. You want the salt to conform and to be a part of the rest of its surroundings, right? You don't want no individual salt crystals. Okay, so once you've added that stuff, you've stirred it around, salt's dissolved, and you can see, like, already, look at that. That's amazing. That's science right there, I think. It could be God. Probably science. Anyway, and you just move it off the heat and you let it just chill out for 20 minutes or something, basically just so all the curds will float to the top, and then you can get a slotted spoon and scoop off layers of the curd, and then you're gonna strain the remaining liquid. So what do you need? Well, you need some kind of a bowl and some kind of a sieve, because the sieve isn't enough really to capture all the curds. So you need to throw over
Fancy.
cheesecloth, and that's gonna catch all the curds and it's gonna collect it into a nice solid ball of
cheese.
Now we're gonna scoop out the stuff that's risen to the top. And look at this. Look at this. That's satisfying. That's pretty satisfying. I'm satisfied. You probably are too. And then we just take this and you wanna keep scooping this stuff, which is pretty cool. It's all floated to the top. It's all separate and
Goopy and fun.
And now we're gonna just pour the rest, right? So if we didn't scoop it, it would have been really annoying. It would be going everywhere. It wouldn't be draining properly. All the liquid's out now. Beautiful. Then we're gonna take the stuff that we separated before and we're gonna pour it back in. Boom. And now we basically just wait. It's at this point that you just get to decide how dry or how wet you want your ricotta to be. If you want it to be super wet and goopy and stuff, then you might want to just, you know, not let it drain so much. But if you want it drier, more crumbly, less smearable, pull it up like this, for example, you know what I mean, and just kind of tie it up. I'm not gonna do that. Yeah, you can just let it drain, right? You can see that steady drip. That's all stuff that's like still in the cheese. Okay, so now that our ricotta's chilled out a little bit, it's firmed up, and we can use it as the base for a delicious open-faced sandwich that's pretty much just a variation on lox. Here and here, we've got some bread that we've made using the whey from earlier, which we're gonna share in a future video, and we've lightly toasted it in some brown butter. Okay, all that's left is just to assemble the sandwich, really. So we're just gonna start by spreading some of this ricotta around. To balance out the richness of the ricotta, we're going to add in some briny acidity, which is going to be provided by these delicious little green peppercorns that are just soaked in some salt water, which are awesome. Building on this acidic contrast, we're going to put on these little sliced up caper berries. and then we're just gonna add on some red onions. This is what everybody knows and associates with cured salmon. Okay, and now the star of the show is this home cured salmon that we'll also share in an upcoming video. All right, and then the last couple of touches is gonna be one more hit of acidity and some floral notes with this lemon juice that's gonna penetrate all throughout. And last is just a little dusting of pepper. And so here it is, the greatest thing since the last thing I made. All right, and now in a totally natural position, I'm going to try this thing.
It's just as good as I knew it was gonna be.
But,
It's always good.
so that's all I really have to say. It's pretty fucking good. You guys should try it. Well, that's it. I'll see you next time, and always remember, do what you love because nobody cares and it doesn't matter.